Hey y'all, welcome back to Homesteading. Hey y'all, welcome back to Homesteading in the City. I'm Zach, and today we're going on tour my garden. So that, of course, is Percival, our dog that loves digging around. We're gonna start off up at the patio. I took the couch cushions off because we had a lot of rain last night, but that's the patio where all the food ends up that we love to share with family and friends. Yeah, that's our chickens from what we grow around here. And so at the very top, we've got our patio pond that Percy helped us dig. We get frogs in here. We have fish that helps give us ambiance, cools it off a little bit, and we've always got water ready to go right here. And then so the chickens have gotten out of their run. I think I have them blocked out a little bit, but it is back here. Come on, ladies. You want to get back in? We're still working on getting this all nice and neat, but this is where the chickens live most of the time unless they escape, and it's their chicken tunnel, and it's a run built with evergreen trees bent over so that they can forage in here. They're protected from hawks, protected from the dog as long as they stay in. And then all this I can just rake up, compost well, and then I have this guy so that I can just rake up this little filter thing, and it'll sift the compost there. And then another Percy, you're not supposed to be in here. And then another feature of this is that it's at the back corner of our yard, which is the most uphill. And so as things rain and kind of wash downhill, they go into the food forest and orchard area, and so any of that nutrients and stuff from the compost just gets pushed into the garden. So right outside of that chicken run area, we have our food forest. And so the food forest is going to be the more densely planted area as opposed to our orchard that we're going to see here in a second. And so this is where we just have a ton of stuff all in here, and we don't do as much pruning. I've got banana. This is red mulberry. We've got a persimmon tree back in there, loquat that's coming up through. We've got different flowers in there. We have elderberries. We have flowers and stuff at the bottom. Percival likes to eat some things because he has to take care of his tummy because he eats so much junk food, right, Percival? Anyways, so we have a ton of stuff just planted in here really thickly. This is our strawberry bush. We've got ginger and turmeric in the ground. We've got strawberries. We've got vining things coming up. This is that fence of the chicken run area in the back. And so we have vines going along that side. Just everything's super thick in there. And then in the middle of the yard, we have our orchard, which is starting to emerge a little bit more. It's kind of overgrown right now in the summer, but we have 7 different rows that you can kind of see. And in each of the rows, we have different trees. We've got bananas at these top 2 rows, rows 1 and 5 over here. And so what they kind of do is act as a barrier around here. As Percy digs in this area, he mixes up the wood chips that we bring in with the sand that's already here, mixes into good soil, and gets thrown down here. But this wall of banana trees kind of helps protect the rest of the orchard from that. And then in the rest of the orchard, we have grapevines that are going along. Just picked the last of those grapes the other day. We have tons of elderberries everywhere. I did an elderberry harvest the other day. Tried to make some syrup, went too long, and ended up just making some hard candy. What else we got? This is our plum tree in the middle of the orchard. We had several plums off of it this year. And then we have apple and pear, which we have not had fruiting yet, but working on pruning them. As you can see, we pruned off anything that's growing that way. or that way, so that it's just this kind of 2D plane that's going to be growing fruit. And so then we'll be able to walk through our orchard rows, pick fruit from either side. And by doing kind of this planting and pruning method on all these trees, we'll be able to maximize the number of trees that we have in a small space, because our entire property is only a quarter acre. And I mean, the house and driveway take up a good third of that, and so the rest of it is split up amongst the front and back and side yards. Oh yeah, the greenhouse. We don't do too much in the greenhouse in the summer because it's so hot, but it's so it's right beside our fountain, which I do need to replace the pump on that because it's all quiet and still now, but we've still got our fish around there. Got this pepper plant doing fantastic in the grow bag. I did put it down in the fish water some yesterday to get some water. And then in the greenhouse, my compost tea is really low. I use that to water the pepper in here, which is just doing fantastic, although we don't have any fruit on it. And then, oh yeah, in here I do have another one of my fig trees that I'm growing from a cutting. Oh, and right outside here you can kind of see, so the top of the hill is where we bring all those wood chips. We bring them from the front yard in my wagon all the way up this path. Percy digs them and they get kind of thrown downhill. I also just kind of rake things downhill to get the wood chips everywhere else. But as things make their way downhill and just keep breaking up, this is what we end up getting. That's what that wood chip compost turns into over time. And so I have come down here actually and just taken a sifter and gotten the bigger wood chunks out of this and used that as my potting soil. And actually once Kara came home, she had gotten a bag of soil at like Lowe's or Home Depot, and honestly it looked pretty much like this but deader. So, and then moving on to the side yard, sadly, we lost one of our big elderberry branches. I just have it kind of hanging over here right now. That was what was providing all that shade to the corner of our house. And so, sadly, we lost that, but we'll just prune it back. And then next year, we should get a ton of good new growth on it. But this is that side yard that's kind of still coming along. Working on just kind of getting the brake to wind around a little bit. Our Meyer lemon here is having some good growth this year. We did lose the key lime that was over there. And then our muscadine, oh wow, we've got three whole muscadines on that. This is just another year of growth on that, but side yard finally coming together. All right, and then that brings us to the front yard. And so of course, right up against the house, we're working on getting this Virginia creeper to grow on the brick, and that will also help keep things cool. And then moving up, we've got the memorial garden that is right at the front of the house, and we've got our memorial fig tree that is just doing fantastic. We've got some little figs on it. We've already eaten a few figs this year, but that is just kind of the centerpiece of the memorial garden. And then that, of course, is right beside our raised beds, which right now they are they're about to be flipped, because this is just some of the overgrowth from the end of the spring and early summer. And so what I'll do, I'll kind of chop this down, let it in there, and then these hay bales that I've been using to mulch around here, I'll do that every few weeks. And so then that is going to be not only mulching this area, but it's going to be breaking down so that I'll be able to use that as the new layer of mulch in my garden beds. And then I'll just keep doing that process. And then the raised beds are right beside our hugelkultur hill, which that's the one that was the pile of trees that were just in the middle of the yard from early on. And so we kept piling on more and more wood chips onto that. And those wood chips, like in the backyard, broke down into good soil. And now we're growing plants in that soil on top of those trees. And recently added this little waterfall feature, and we've got like frogs and fish and stuff in there, and a pump that kind of goes up, and then it comes down this corrugated pipe that we just we'd gotten that out of the trash at my work, and I just cut that up and repurposed it into a little river. And then at the top of the hill we have our little off-grid communications and power system. I think it might have got struck by lightning or something. It did quit working, but it was powering our Starlink for communications and the well pump. Right now I just have the well pump running off of an extension cord, and the Starlink is not running. The Starlink is our backup internet to our main internet. So of course all the wood chips that are in the backyard, used in the hugelkultur hill and everything, come through this mulch delivery driveway, and so that's where we can order chip drops as people are getting trees cut down in other areas of the neighborhood. The tree companies can just dump it here and we'll use it elsewhere. One of the things I'm doing right here actually is kind of piled up. You can see 3 kind of layers of wood chips, and we're going to plant some stuff, probably like garlic or potatoes, in here, and just creating more room for planting. And then these are built up actually because I built a dead hedge with like branches and stuff cut down, and so there is kind of a wall right here that is now hard to see because of all this Virginia creeper, and so that is what's holding back all this stuff from that area and protecting this tree actually. And then back in here, if you remember at the beginning of summer, we did have a bed in here. Actually, they were growing some tomatoes. There's a trellis and stuff. It just got completely taken over by the Jerusalem artichoke and stuff. So that is doing its job, kind of filling in, being a live privacy wall there. So that bed's going to be coming out, and this will just be more of the living hedge. Speaking of living hedges, we do have our berry hedge along one side of the driveway. It's the most struggling part. Is where we have probably done the least work, gotten to the last. But we did get some berries this year. You can see a lot of dewberry is taking off in this area. We put in some strawberry bushes that are hopefully going to hang on, and then I also have a raspberry that seems to be hanging on this year. But we'll just keep adding berries and stuff in here. I do want to get mulberry tree to kind of grow in and replace this crepe myrtle, so hopefully we'll have a couple mulberry trees. And I've got ants. And of course on the other side of the driveway we have our flood water management beds they're dug down so that they can absorb all the water that's coming off the roof and driveway into the yard before it goes into the streets. And then on each one of those berms we have a peach tree, and so we got a handful of peaches off of them this year. This is their second summer in the yard, and so probably by the 3rd summer we'll get a good bit, and by summer number 4 and 5 we will really be doing well. And then right up by the street we have our community garden beds, and this was the materials that were all sourced from our community: the brick, the beds, even some of the grass for mulch and seeds. And it, like a lot of things in late July, a little bit overgrown. I need to kind of clear it out. Also my basil's going to seed. I think the peppers and tomatoes are done. Did I say tomato? Anyways, this I'll kind of clear out again, flip the beds, and that's just for anyone that's walking down the street to be able to just pop in, grab a little bit of veggie or herb for their dinner. That's all we got for today for the garden tour. If y'all want to stay tuned, hurricane season is rapidly approaching. Technically we're already in it, but I'm probably going to do some hurricane prep tips on here soon. we can say hey to Pluto the garden kitty, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Say hey, Pluto.